Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Make Change Happen Masterclass. I am so excited that you are here with me tonight to jump on live and learn about how to become a Make Change Happen coach. All right, if you're out there, say hi, introduce yourself in the comments, okay? I'm going to make a comment. I'm going to put up the link to the workbook here in just a second. If you are catching this on replay, drop me a hashtag replay because replay is exactly like live. You can leave your comments as you watch. I will see them and can reply to you. So definitely drop a hashtag replay and jump in and let me know that you are here. And if you are here, introduce yourself in the comments. Say hi. I'm Allison Peterson. I'm the founder of the New to Coaching group. And tonight we're talking about the Make Change Happen Masterclass. And we're learning how to become a Make Change Happen coach that owns her coaching program. How exciting is that? Okay, you drop that in the comments. And while you introduce yourself, I'm going to pop this up here for you. You can scan this with your phone or you can type in the bit.ly link, but this is the link to the workbook tonight. And I promised you this if you came on live with me tonight, and there is a piece of gold inside this workbook that we're going to work through tonight together, which is my coaching program document template. So I am thrilled that you are here. You have to have this workbook. So grab it. If you can't download it and print it right this second, that's okay. Just keep it for later. Follow along with me. My slides are in here so that you can see those. So let's get started with a question for you. As we have some who are coming in, we can make sure they get the workbook as well. But I want you to tell me, and you're going to drop this in the comments. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the journey of a coach, because as we talk about becoming a Make Change Happen coach and building a Make Change Happen coaching program, you might need to realize that there's a journey towards becoming this thing, the one who can actually start, the coach who can start making change happen at her school. So this is a graphic that I designed with my sweet friend, Michelle Rui, who may or may not be able to join tonight. And she and I designed this together in a way to just kind of put some words to what we've heard here in the group, in the New to Coaching group. This group, I looked it up the other day. I finally found the birthday of the New to Coaching group was in July 2019. So it's almost been 4 years of interacting with and working with new coaches. And so as I've built this community of over 8,000 members of new instructional coaches, I hear from them these different phases that they go through as the journey starts. So I want you to tell me if you are a brand new coach and you just got hired. You are probably a hashtag excited and nervous. So I want you to drop that in the comments. That idea of excited and nervous is usually where you start your journey as a coach. And I got this term from you. And in the DMs that I've sent with members, I've said, how's it going? You just got your new job. How are you feeling about it? And they say to me, I'm so excited, but I'm so nervous. And so if that's you and you're feeling a little bit excited and nervous in this place, drop me a hashtag excited and nervous so that I know that that's where you kind of are on your journey, because it's a really special place to be, but it also, because of that excitedness, you are really ready to jump in. And that's what you are here for tonight. This masterclass is going to give you where do you jump in the pool? Okay. I'm going to tell you where the diving board is, how to get up the stairs, and how to jump off the diving board into the right spot. And so if you're nervous though, it's usually because you just don't know a lot about coaching yet. And that's okay. And we're absolutely going to help you tonight get there. So after you start your journey, it's good for you to know that there's probably going to be a phase early on in your coaching journey of lost and lonely, friends. And I see a few who already have said, I'm between lost and lonely and design it and own it. Okay, that's good. Lost and lonely. Some people are already dropping that in, because what I have found is that after excited and nervous, there is this roadblock. There is this wall that we hit in coaching. And it really, I'm going to explain a little bit more where it comes from. But the thing that I hear the most is just a lack of direction. Like new coaches just truly start this new job. They do not feel equipped. They do not feel like they know what they're supposed to start with and where to go. And they're not getting direction from the people around them. And that is a frustrating place to be. And so you hit a wall of lost and lonely. So if you feel like you maybe have started coaching, you're a few months in, or you finishing your first year and you're still kind of feeling in the lost and lonely phase of this thing, you may even be contemplating, like, should I just go back to the classroom? Like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to make a difference here. And if that emotion is welling up in you, I want to tell you how much I want to just help you with that emotion, because tonight's masterclass is all about helping you come over that lost and lonely. And if you're an excited, nervous, brand new coach, I want you to know lost and lonely might be coming, and I want to help you avoid the roadblock right away. And so tonight, Amy says, I've thought of that a couple of times since last week. Yes, absolutely. Nervous about designing and presenting relevant PDs that will be beneficial to teachers. Yeah. So like when you're first starting, you're nervous about getting in front of the teachers and are they going to like me? And what am I supposed to do? And what am I PD? Excited about getting nervous. I was there last week, right? Exactly. So good. And then some of you are dropping that you are kind of between, and you've maybe made it down a little bit further in your journey where you're designing and owning your coaching program. And that is what we're talking about tonight. I really, really, really want to encourage you that there is a way through the roadblocks that happen when you hit lost and lonely. You will hit it. And hopefully with some help from this masterclass, you will be able to hop right over into designing and owning your coaching program. Because once you get to number 3, once you get clarity, once you find your focus, once you own your coaching program, you can start further down the journey into pursuing progress, seeing the change happen that you want to see. Small steps, okay? Small steps. If change is the goal, progress is the win. That is our hashtag here in the group. Drop it for me if you're participating and listening tonight. And that's how you go all the way down to becoming a make change happen coach. Is you have to get through excited and nervous, through lost and lonely, and you've got to get to the point where you're going to design your coaching program and own it. Friends, own it. And I'm going to teach you how to do that tonight in this masterclass. I promise you that by the end of our time together, you will feel like you at least know where to start. You're not going to feel like you are going to stay in lost and lonely anymore. You're going to have a plan. And then I'm also going to be telling you later tonight how I can help you develop and totally flesh out this plan beyond what I can share with you in a single hour. So I really, really, really want this for you. It's in my heart. It's why I do the work of coming on to the New to Coaching group and doing live sessions. It's to help you through this place because of my own story, which I'll tell you more about. And then Michelle Boleyn says, I travel between 3, 4, and 5 continuously. Michelle Boleyn is one of my one of my Breakthrough Circle members, which is my group coaching program where I support new coaches. And we've done this work together of helping her design her coaching program, pursue progress, make change happen, go back to step 3, 4, and 5. So it's a part of the work that I do to help and support coaches. Cool, calm, and collected in the coaching interview. Of course you were. That's awesome. Okay, so that's what we're going for tonight, is helping you come over that lost and lonely into designing and owning it, and making sure you're really feeling like you know what you're going to do. And I want to tell you a little bit of my story in that so that you can have some guidance. I'm going to get some water. Okay, so did you drop me if change is the goal, progress is the win? Because that is our hashtag that's going to be an anchor point for us, because we have to be able to realize that big change takes small progress. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Okay, so let's talk about my story. So I'm finishing up my 9th year out of the classroom as an instructional coach, which is kind of crazy to be going into year 10 of this work. And in that, when I first moved into a coaching role, I was just getting started, coming into a place where I was really craving to do the work. I was excited and nervous to do the coaching work. And I got there and realized very quickly that no one around me was going to give me a lot of direction. I was actually stepping into a technology coach type of role. And when I was there, I was expecting that the principals, and I was working at a K-12 school, so kind of a district level coach, all these different buildings. I was expecting that the principals would give me some direction and that they knew what they wanted me to do because they brought me on and they hired me. And it was this moment where I was like, okay, so I'm ready. Tell me what I'm supposed to do, right? Have you had that moment as a new coach? Or if you are going to be a new coach, you're sitting there ready and waiting to be told what to do. I was so thankful that I did have a tech director who kind of sat with me and, helped me think a little bit about what we could do. But at the end of the day, no one was really telling me what to do. And I hit a wall pretty quickly because I ran into some resistant teachers. And I had to hit that lost and lonely phase and say to myself, like, I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to stay here because this is not what I came out of the classroom to do. I want to do this work. And I just knew that this was my work. I kind of felt like coaching was my calling very early on in my education career. And I was like, I knew I wanted to do the work of sharing with other people what I had learned. Like, no question, that is the work I needed to do. So I had to come over this hump and learn more about how to take ownership, how to lead something, and how to actually own this thing and make it mine. And so I was waiting for someone else to give me a 3-year plan. I was waiting for someone else to tell me what program we were going to adopt. I was waiting for everyone else to tell me what to do. And then I finally realized that no one else has the answer. And it wasn't like a negative thing to them, but to like say about these principals. They didn't know. They were looking to me as the expert who they had hired to tell them what I recommend that we purchase, that we need to have in place, that our plan would be. They were looking to me to come up with the plan, and they expected me to be the expert. And I'm looking at them like, but I just came out of the classroom and I don't know what I'm doing. And that's not how they saw me. And I want to tell y'all, friends, that this was an aha moment for me that I need you to have in here in this session. You were hired because they saw you as someone who they thought could take their coaching program and run with it. So many of you were tapped on the shoulder and said, hey, we have this new coaching role. We want you to take it. Tap, tap, tap. Do you think you'd be interested in it? And you were like, I didn't ever think I wanted to leave the classroom. I don't know if I want to do that. And you said yes anyway, because you thought, okay, well, I think I could do it. Right. But you don't realize that they see you as someone who they think can own this coaching program and can bring recommendations, expertise, instructional expertise, leadership to the role. And if some of you somebody was just mentioning, Ashley was just mentioning a coaching interview. A lot of you went through an intensive interview process, and many people were weeded out through that process. And at the end of the day, they picked you, which means they saw something in you where they thought you would have the initiative that they wanted to put you in this spot. They didn't pick you so that you could just like follow everybody else's status quo. They picked you because they thought you'd be the great fit for building this thing. So many of you are starting a brand new coaching program. And so when you are doing that and you're stepping into that, you have to realize that everyone else around you really sees you as the expert and the consultant. And now when it comes to like coaching teachers, we're not putting ourselves in the expert position. But when it comes to building our coaching program, we actually are. And I think that that is a unique perspective that I woke up to that day that I was like, oh my goodness, they want me to do it. And so guess what I did, friends? I sat down at my computer and I wrote up a 3-year plan for what we were going to be doing and how we were going to adopt a learning management system, how we were going to roll out Chromebooks, how we were going to do the teacher training. I wrote up the plan, the whole thing. And then I brought it to them. And my principals, all of the different principals, got their input, but ultimately they didn't have much to add, friends, because they wanted me to tell them what they thought we should do. It was the weirdest sensation, but I want you to know that this is really how they see you. They are waiting for you to take initiative, for you to run. And I want to empower you tonight with the work we're going to do of understanding how to run, for you to know that you can run. And if your principal's not giving you a lot of direction, or you get in there and you're kind of waiting around for someone to tell you what to do and you're not really sure what this coaching thing is, that's when you've got to realize you're going to hit lost and lonely. And instead, you've got to own this thing. So Amy says, that's what happened to me. I was asked to take this by the principal and retiring coach. They had more confidence that I could do it than I did. And this is great, Amy, because it's very true, but we don't sometimes see that in ourselves. It's so interesting. So I want to put this up here real quick. This is a little chart that I made about transitioning from the classroom to coaching. And when I think about you, this person that they hired to take on and build their coaching program, I think about you, the runner coach. We talk about the runner teachers here in the New to Coaching group, and I kind of teach this model of going after the runner teachers, the highest performing, the ones who are most willing to grow, the ones who are just going above and beyond all the time. Well, guess what? You were the runner teacher in the classroom. And so one of the reasons why it's hard for you to sometimes take ownership here is, and you hit that lost and lonely phase, is because you had so much ownership of your classroom and you knew how to run that thing like a well-oiled machine. Did you not? Yes, you did. Okay. So when you come over to the coaching role, you don't have your classroom anymore, and you feel like you have to wait to be told what to do, and you're not really sure where you're supposed to start, and resistant teachers are a real thing. And so in that process, you kind of lose your ability to run. And I know exactly how it feels. I had that moment. But I want to encourage you to be a runner coach as we work through this tonight. Is you've got to reactivate what makes you such a great coach. Such a great teacher is also what makes you such a great coach. That's what I'm trying to say. What made you such a great teacher is what makes you such a great coach. So when you were a classroom teacher, you built relationships with kids. You're going to carry that over. You're going to build relationships with teachers. When you built classroom culture, now you're going to build a culture of coaching. When you designed your instruction, now you're going to design your professional development. When you progress monitored your student learning in your classroom, now you're going to do tracking progress towards student-focused goals with your teachers in coaching cycles. Before you were analyzing student data in your classroom level, now you're going to start analyzing trends in data at a higher level. You used to be differentiating for students. Now you're going to differentiate for teachers. You used to celebrate student growth. You're going to celebrate teacher growth. The things that we know are the things that we know and do in the classroom. Those are the things that made us runners in the classroom. Well, you're just going to put all of those things over into your coaching program and build a coaching program that is one that is going to start to help you make change happen. And I absolutely believe that the differentiator in the coaching program is not what you put in the document, friends. The differentiator in the coaching program is you, the make change happen coach, the runner coach who's going to have ownership, who's going to take this thing and run with it and realize that she can own it. And so this is my little phrase here. This is something that I said in one of my sessions that now I just repeat. And I sometimes say it to myself. I wish that I had known that the coaching program was mine to own. Okay. So I want you to give me a hashtag mine to own or hashtag own it, whichever you like better. And I want you to start to step into ownership. If you are a brand new coach, this is an amazing time to step into ownership because you haven't had that lost and lonely phase and you could kind of start ahead of the game. And if you are experiencing lost and lonely, then this is going to be the turning point where you can step into realizing I have more to bring to the table than I thought, and I need to be the expert in this. So your coaching program is hashtag mine to own or hashtag own it because you are truly equipped already You are equipped already to do this work. And the work that you have done in the classroom has equipped you. Now, it's a different job, but it still has equipped you. So we're going to talk about tonight how you're going to become the expert in coaching. That's not putting you in the expert position above your teachers. This is a little different, y'all. We're talking tonight about building your coaching program, not about necessarily the actual coaching of teachers. Then we're going to talk about how you design a vision for your coaching and how you ultimately lead up to your admin to help them see what it should be. And then we're going to talk about how you're going to run with this thing. And so these are the different pieces that we are going to focus on tonight. Okay, so before we go into this one, let me see. There was one other thing I thought. Okay, it's mine to own. Yeah, I think we need to do the workbook again. I'm just going to put that up here in case you haven't. Let's put this workbook up here again. Okay, so again, if you just came on here and you haven't grabbed this workbook yet, I need you to grab it because I want you to. I want to show you my coaching program document before I start kind of working through the phases, because I want you to see how those phases are going to show up in the document. Okay, so two things are going to happen. We're going to talk about the 5 phases that you go through when you start designing your coaching program. And they are all in this workbook. So grab this workbook. And then we're going to talk about how you build a coaching program document to document, literally is the word, everything that you are putting into it. Okay. So they kind of go hand in hand. The phases are the processes you go through, and the document is the actual kind of product you're going to end up creating. Okay. So we've got process and product. You have this. If you can pull it up on a new tab, or you can look at it later. If you can't look at it right now, totally fine. I'm going to show you my coaching program document. So I'm going to put this up here. Okay, so this is the coaching program document. So when I started the process of creating a 3-year plan for how we were going to roll out these new pieces, I was also creating that's the plan. But above that, I was creating what are we doing with coaching? What are our goals with coaching? And so I started building this document slowly. Okay. So y'all are seeing a finished product of really literally 10 years of work of this. I've added to this template many times. And so this is not the one I have one for each of the schools that I've worked with. I've worked with 3 different schools and launched 3 different coaching programs. And each time I would take this template and I would kind of customize it. But anyway, the first time I built it, it obviously happened over a process of time. It did not happen all in one sitting, and there's no expectation of you doing it in that way. But I want you to kind of get a feel for the different components that could be in a document like this. And so what we're going to talk through here is these different pieces almost as phases. So these different parts of the document, as you want to go and kind of peek at them, you'll see some different samples and things that I've used. And I'll be talking through these different phases of the process and how you end up kind of documenting each of these things in the document. And what this is again, it's just let's name this coaching program. Let's put goals behind it. Let's make a plan then for what we're going to execute. And then we're going to talk about how you lead up to your admin with that. So it's good to kind of have this handy. I'm going to come back to it as we go through. Let me switch over back to here. Oh, wait, not that button. Present. There we go. All right. Y'all are a little quiet. Yes. QR code again. Let's do QR code again real quick. All right. There's the QR code again real quick before we go to the phases. And again, you can look at this workbook. You can print it out. You'll have the slides. You can come back and watch this again. Replay will be available for a little bit. So just know. Okay, so we're going to start by talking through the phases, and then I'll kind of show you the corresponding pieces in the document where we go from process to product. Okay, so all right, perfect. If you need it, there it was, and I can put it up for you again. All right, so let's look at this one. All right, so phase 1. If you're going to start building a coaching program, where do I start? Okay, and this is for This is for the brand new coach. Okay. So if you are a brand new coach and you do not know where to start, your summer is going to be right here in this Discover. Okay. And I'm going to tell you too how you can work with me so that I can guide you through all of this work. Okay. So you are not going to be left on a limb if you want guidance and coaching through this work. I'm just going to tell you about that at the end. So stay to the end so you can hear a little bit more about how I have worked my Breakthrough Circle members through this process. Okay. So just know that this is just a checklist of something that is a much more extensive process and work. Okay, so this is where you start. But if you are a returning coach, like you have had a year or two under your belt, this is where you return to. Okay, and this is where you make sure that at some point you maybe missed or hopped over a deep understanding of coaching. Okay, because phase one of the 5 phases of designing your coaching program is the discover phase. Okay, phase one is when you discover and understand what you believe about coaching and what coaching truly is intended to be at its core. Okay. Now, I say that because there are a lot of misconceptions about coaching, a lot. And your administrator, as wonderful as he or she is an expert in educational leadership and management. They're not an expert in coaching. And so, even if you say to yourself, I know nothing about coaching, you still have to become the expert in coaching. And you still have to be able to help your admin understand what the purpose of coaching truly is. And you will be the one who will need to bring that to the table. And that feels weird because we think that the admin's going to tell us, but we have to do the work to know and understand what coaching truly is. So deep diving into the coaching literature is really step one. And I do have some books that I recommend as my starting place books, and I will tell you about those at the end of the session. I'll show you a Padlet. So deep diving into coaching and really understanding what it is and knowing who the gurus are out there and what they teach and how, what are these different perspectives of coaching and models of coaching. That is really step one. And if you this summer, as you're getting ready and preparing for your new job, then you have to do a little bit of that to understand and identify, or down there it says identify your personal beliefs about coaching. This work is so valuable. Identifying your beliefs about coaching and what you want ideally for coaching to be and why you feel like it's your calling. Why do you feel like this is the thing that you're stepping out to do? And what we've done in the Breakthrough Circle is we've put this into a Canva graphic that we re-anchor to every year now. It's like, okay, these are my coaching beliefs. And I've gone through a year and like, have I gotten off base? Have I forgotten them? Do I need to re-anchor and remember them? So really doing a values and beliefs work of understanding what coaching is, deciding who you want to be as a coach. And then as you have the opportunity as a new coach to listen and learn about your schools, that can kind of go into the beginning of the school year. And then I recommend a wish list meeting with your principal. This idea of a wish list meeting comes from Joanna Gaines. I love watching her show. I'm sure you are a Joanna Gaines fan, but she, when she goes and meets with the new owners of a home, when she's trying to design for someone specifically, she like walks them through the house that is going to be renovated. And she says, okay, tell me what you want. Tell me where you would want it, what you would want it to look like. Okay. Tell me where, which wall you want to knock down or what carpet you want to pull up. Right. So you get that wish list and she gets that wish list. And what she does with that is she's the hired designer, very much like you are the hired coach, friends. You are the hired consultant and she is the hired designer. She takes the wish list from the owner and then goes back to her studio and designs a plan around the wish list and then brings it back to the client and says, okay, what do you think about this? Do you want to make any changes? And that's the work that we're doing here when we figure out, okay, here's what my principal wants. And then we're going to go into phase 2 of the process where we actually start designing. Okay, so phase 2 of the process is when you are, hold on, let me do this real quick before I do phase 2. I want to show you on the coaching program document where you can see some equivalents in product of that phase 1. Okay, so you see how here it says foundational beliefs and coaching behaviors, and you also have like research bias and philosophy of coaching. And so these are sections of the document that are areas where, and if I go to this bookmark here, let me see if it'll let me click that. Yeah. So when you see on my document, I've got foundational beliefs, and these are some like core beliefs that I've chosen and decided on. In Jim Knight's book, Better Conversations, he talks about his 6 beliefs. And when I did this work with a team of coaches, we did like we talked about our own beliefs off of some of Jim Knight's beliefs. And then when I've done this in the Breakthrough Circle, we've used that work and then the work of our own coaching group. So coaching behaviors, coaching beliefs. So this is where it kind of shows up here in the document, that phase 1. And there's also the research bias that probably was a little bit earlier. So you can just see where some of those things, like from your research, you're going to go research coaching and you're going to figure out like, what is this thing? And how are we going to show like, this is the thing that is going to be the, it's going to make a big impact towards the goals of the school. All right. Ask me questions as we're going along here. Okay. Because I know I'm presenting a ton of information in just a short time. So phase 1 was discover. Okay. So we did discover, and we're going to understand deeply what coaching is, and we're going to start to name our own coaching beliefs. In phase 2, we're going to be that Joanna Gaines again, and we're going to actually take this back to our studio, and we're going to start designing what coaching should be. Now, where do we get that information from? Our research. We get the information from the research. Like, this is what coaching should be. This is what the coaching model should be. These are all the things that we have found. Now, if you're a brand new coach, you can choose some of these things, but it really becomes clear when you step into doing the work that you'll decide. And another thing that I have found, and I know that some of you out there have done this as well, is by doing the research, I ended up kind of designing my own coaching model from the work of doing the research. Well, I like this piece and I like this piece, but I don't really like that. And so I'm going to like add these things together and make my own. And that's actually something that I teach here in the group. I ended up calling it the organic coaching cycle. And so I kind of ended up making my own model, but you don't have to do that as a new coach. Use one of the models that's already established out there for you, like Jim Knight's impact cycle, Diane Sweeney's student-centered coaching. So there are several models out there. Elena Aguilar has transformational coaching. So there are a lot of models that are already done, but you have to do the research to kind of like figure out where to start. So crafting a vision for coaching. What is your coaching program going to impact? Clearly defining your role is a whole task of, I'll show you that on the program document, of creating your role graphic and making sure you have clarity around what it is you do, what it is you don't do, how you are not an evaluator, and how you're going to communicate that to the faculty. So this work of designing is putting some visuals to what coaching is. And so much of this work, I'm just here, need you to hear me on this. So much of this work is for you. You don't understand what coaching is yet because you're new. Well, you can understand it. And then once you have to design it and write it down, it's going to become clear for you. And you have to do it because turns out you have to turn around and explain to everyone else what coaching is. And so it's really helpful for you to have it in a visual graphic. Again, these are things that I teach in all of my workshops. So I want you to know I have so many resources for you for this. Determine how coaches should use their time, anchor to a coaching model, and then identify how you will measure success. This one is really important because no one is probably going to define this for you. And I think it's a very strange thing where you're going to end up defining your own evaluation rubric. But the truth is that no one is going to tell you how you're going to be evaluated. Coaches don't fit anywhere. They don't fit under teacher. They don't fit really under specialist. They don't fit under admin. They're just awkwardly placed. And unless somebody has created a coaching evaluation tool for you, not likely, you might want to bring one to the table. And I also think that identifying how you measure success has absolutely nothing to do with an evaluation tool. It has in your heart, what will be your determiner of whether or not you are being successful. I have so many of my Breakthrough Circle members get on the phone with me and say, like, I just don't feel like I'm making progress or I'm being successful. And I'm like, tell me what you did today that was a win. And they will say, well, I helped a teacher. I helped one teacher with one thing. And I'm like, that's it. That's your measure of success. It's not always these big measure points. It's the small progress. Okay, I have a Padlet that I will share with you about the books to read and the starting place for the research. Absolutely. So just wait till the end and I'll be able to drop that link for you. So yes, I have a Padlet with all the books on it. Okay, great. Okay, so that's phase 2. So let's look at the coaching program document for that. And we should have foundational beliefs, role description. So like your actual job description can go in here. And then this is my graphic that I made about my role of an instructional coach. And I call this my instructional umbrella because it's something that like, it's my boundary stones around where I try to stay. But yours can look totally different than this. This is just one example. I actually have another Padlet of all of these great coaching program, instructional coaching role graphics that I've collected from the New to Coaching group. So at the end, when we're doing Q&A, I'll go grab that link for you too. So you can go and see what these look like and you can build one for you. And then you can put it in front of your principal. Okay, that's the next phase. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay, so all of these things are kind of like outlined in here for you. Just want to make sure you see like where that goes when we're talking about product and process. Okay, so here's our phase 3, align. Okay. Oh, my district gave me a instructional specialist rubric. That is amazing. I am so glad that somebody gave that to you because so few coaches have that type of measure. I'm so glad that you have it. So put it in your coaching role document or your coaching program document. Okay. So for phase 3, align, we're going to take all of that design work that we've done and we're going to align our coaching program to the research. Your task is research the district and school goals. So you're going to align your coaching program to the district and school goals. You've got to go find the school strategic plan or the district strategic plan. And hopefully your principal can give you some of these resources or guide you in what the goals would be. So you would get that information at your wish list meeting with your principal. But you've got to see like, hey, this is what the school wants to see the change to be. And now here's how coaching is going to help with that. So like, let's say I've heard this a lot, that a lot of coaches are being hired because there's funding that came in for, maybe science of reading or literacy emphasis and goals around literacy, right? So let's say that you got hired as a literacy coach and there are some district, state, goals that are being set around literacy improvement. Those are the things that you can anchor your coaching program to help your coaching program have a place where it sits and a bigger umbrella that it's trying to meet. And that's how you create a coaching program that is not just isolated, but sitting under the overall work that everyone wants to see and the change that everyone wants to see. And so you can analyze the district and school data if you have access to that, or as you start your school year, you can start getting access to that and seeing how you can align that. You can recommend what you think that the steps should be. We'll work on like steps and goals. And anchor to an instructional framework. Most districts already have instructional frameworks, whatever your evaluation process is for teachers, that's the instructional framework. And then the evaluation process in your district is also very important. And those things go in your coaching program document because they are the places where like the bigger umbrella that coaching sits under, and you have to know like where you fit in those things. And so you understanding them and then putting documentation in your coaching program document. You're like, okay, well, here's where coaching fits in the evaluation process. It happens through goal setting, or here's the instructional framework. This is what coaching is working on and helping teachers improve. So you're helping make sure that your coaching program is tied to something and it's not just sitting unanchored. And so in my document, I have like the teacher evaluation process, and where it just kind of have it in there, but they do have like coaching, teacher sets growth goals and then begins to work on growth goals. And that's kind of where the coaching piece sits in there. And then the instructional framework, I'm assuming you have one with your district, but if you don't, I've linked for you some different ones that you can anchor to, that can be a guide for you to have that. And then there's also links for you to how you can measure coaching, and like she was saying, like the rubric. So these are just links for you to look at here. Coaching model, and just putting that coaching model in there so that you have that anchor point. So once you've done this work, and a lot of it may be in conjunction with your principal, you are definitely going to, as a brand new coach, you're going to get the year started before you're going to get this deep in it, into phase 3, into like alignment. But the thing is, knowing that you should align it is the most important thing you need to know. Like, this is what you should be doing. You should be thinking about how you can align it to the larger goals of the district. And now you're going to start stepping up into that ownership. So in phase 4, we're working on lead. We're going to lead others to believe in this vision. And this is where ownership really comes in. I mean, #own it means like, I'm not just going to put it together and like hope that everybody else follows it because I wrote it down. This is like, you are now the keeper of the vision and the one who is sharing with everyone what we are doing. Even when you want your principal to be the one sharing it, you're still probably the one sharing it. And you're going to bring this coaching program document, or at least the start of it, to your principal and say, this is what I took some notes on about my research this summer. I tried to kind of compile it into a document so it was clear. And you're going to talk to him or her about how you learned how coaching has to be non-evaluative, and coaches' time really needs to be protected, because if they're subbing or being pulled for intervention, then they're not really going to be able to achieve what they need to be able to achieve. And we have really big goals to achieve, because I read the strategic plan for the school and I know that there's a big literacy initiative. And do you see what I'm saying? You're going to be the one who is going to have to sit across from your principal and tell him how important your coaching work's going to be. And you are probably going like wide-eyed, like, wait, I'm going to tell the principal that my work is important? Yes. Because even though your principal may believe that your work is important, it's very likely that he or she does. They are very, very busy, like beyond busy. They're managing a million things. And this is not at the top of their list. And just be honest with you. Like, I wish it was. We all wish that it was on the top of their list and they were so interested in all the work we're doing with coaching. But we're lucky if we get an hour with them once a week, friends. Like, reality will set in if you have not started your work yet. It's hard to get your hands on a slippery principal. And so what you have to do is realize that you have to present it to your principal. Let them know this is the plan you're running with. This is why you're doing it. Let them have input in it. And then you have the permission to own and run with your coaching program, which is kind of the next step. So, also, I have here, so lead up to your admin, but leading across to peers and other important people. Like, for example, my tech director in all of my schools has always been incredibly important. Whether I was a tech coach or an instructional coach, having some other people that I work with closely and make sure they know about the plan and they know what we're trying to achieve. And getting other people on board is a really important part of leading. And like, if you have a literacy team or you have some specialists that you work with, like talking to them about coaching. So I call this leading from the middle, because you really have to kind of be the center point for everyone to understand what the goals are. And so you also want to be ready with your elevator speech, so that when anybody asks you about coaching and your vision for coaching, it just comes to you very easily, and you can explain things very easily. So that's phase 4. lead. Take that coaching program document to your principal. Talk to him or her about it. Get their input. And then you're Joanna Gaines. Go design the house, friend. Like, go and do this and get it right, because they cannot wait to see what you can come up with. And let me tell you, none of you guys can, or none of these principals can design the house the way that Joanna Gaines can. You have a unique ability to bring this to the table. Okay. So in phase 5, we really start taking our design and taking it straight to the house, starting to decorate. Okay. We are gone from designing to putting this thing all the way to the finish line of the big reveal, right? So this is when you are in the run phase, you've kind of got permission to get moving. You've talked to your principal about your goals. If you're a first-year coach and you're just starting, you'll be figuring it out as you go, but it's great, still good to have a plan. You've got to have an idea of where you're going. You got to have a plan. Okay. And we're going to go back to our runner qualities as a teacher. In the classroom, what did you do over the summer to plan your year-long sketch of your curriculum? You are an instructional designer. You've been writing lesson plans for however many years. And you know the process of doing that type of design. You know how to look at units and quarters and breakpoints. That's not a new task for you. And so what you can do is take that skill of instructional design and put it towards instructional design of your coaching program. And design, I like to work around, since you don't have units anymore, I like to work around quarters. So I like to create an environment where I am, here, go take this. Here, you go take that out there though, okay? She's fine. My little one came to see me. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the idea of setting quarterly goals. And this is something that has really, really helped me. Is look at the school year in terms of quarters, right? And that's probably what you use for your school system, but maybe you use trimesters or something. So use whatever the school uses. And then take a look at all right, what are the PD days in there? What kind of PD could be done in there? What do I want to have achieved by the end of that quarter? What do I want to, how many, if you're a brand new coach, let's say you set something you want to have a one-on-one meeting with every teacher by the end of the first quarter. Maybe that goal is just something that you set. And then every day when you come back to your desks and you're not sure what to do, you're like, okay, well, I'm trying to get through every teacher. Let me look at my list. I still got to make 3 more appointments. Okay, I'm working towards a goal. And so really trying to create an action plan that is going to get you towards that make change happen, that change that you want to see. And so a lot of my coaches who I work with have written full literacy plans, or I did a technology 3-year plan. So this may be all the way to the point where you are writing an instructional improvement plan that you are getting some input on. But as you start, if you're just starting and you're getting into this, you got to do that first year of kind of learning what's going on before you can recommend what the instructional improvement plan would be. But you're always on the lookout for it, and you're always thinking about what you would recommend. And so you have to also know who you're going after. Okay. This is something that I teach really, really emphasize in the Kickstart Your Coaching, but you got to know that you have to go after the runners. Okay. The runner teachers are the ones who are going to create momentum in your coaching program. And if we're super worried about the resistant teachers when we first get started, that's what's going to hit the lost and lonely phase, quick and fast and roadblock and run back to the classroom type of resistance. And so you got to realize that building your coaching program is going to take 3 to 5 years. Put that in the comments for me, 3 to 5 years, because sometimes it takes a long time to understand how long it truly takes. And starting with the runners or the teachers who are most willing and interested and willing to grow is the place to start. And then, as I mentioned before, our hashtag here in the group is, if change is the goal, progress is the win. And so progress is the place where we have to focus. So if we're going to start running and we're going to start going and we're going to start moving, we can't get stalled by the slowness of progress. If we're thinking about 3 to 5 years, then we have a much wider, big picture perspective of, okay, year one, I am planting seeds. I am doing the work of, really getting those seeds in the ground. I'm plowing the ground. I'm getting the seeds in the ground. And then I'm going to water them. And then I'm going to this is going to take years of you really doing some cultivating work to see the progress towards change. But what makes you a make change happen coach is that you see progress and you see change happening, even if it's in one teacher. Like along the way, you're like, oh, I got it. I got one teacher to make change happen. She changed her practice. Yes. This is when you are starting to realize that progress is actually the change you want to see. Small progress leads to big, small steps lead to big steps. Go slow to go fast, people say, right? And then creating a system to celebrate success is making sure that you're helping everybody around you see we're making progress towards change. And this is part of you owning it and leading your coaching program, friends, is realizing that you now have a plan and a purpose. You're ready to run, and you need everyone else to kind of start to get on board. And because now it's not everybody else's priority, you have to make sure that it becomes their priority by bringing it to their attention as much as possible. So I've talked through a lot. Okay. So that is the 5 phases of designing your coaching program. If change is the goal, progress is the win. We talked about that. All right. We're going to talk about this in just a second. So I'm going to go over here. Okay, so I know that was a lot, and I know that you are, probably feeling like you might be drinking from a fire hose, especially if you're a brand new coach. This is only a 1-hour masterclass, friends, so you're going to end up feeling like, okay, I think I have a lot more to learn here. So I will get you the link to that Padlet. So I'm going to work on getting that for you. I think it might actually be, yes, it's this one. Okay, great. I'll put that up in a second. In the comments while I'm getting that link, I would love for you to tell me what is hitting you the most about what I've talked about so far. And tell me what has been most useful for you. Because what I want to talk to you about next is the work that you have to do internally. I want to say there's a lot of content knowledge and things that you need to learn. I'll talk about that. But really, this is an internal growth work for you to step up and start owning your coaching program. There is some big work to be done. And so I want to encourage you through that. I want to tell you how I can help you, how I can coach you through every phase of these phases, these 5 phases. I can lead you through that work because I've done it. And then I've run hundreds of women through my Breakthrough Circle community who have learned this as well. So you tell me what's most useful for you. For the Padlet, somebody out there, will you put this one in the comments for me? So it's padlet.com/faithfulcoaching/make change happen. It's kind of a long one. So put that in the comments for me. I'll leave it up for a second while I look at some of your comments. And so that Padlet has on it the different books that you can read. Okay. So it even says kind of a start here column where you start with the coaching habit and better conversations. Those are great places to start for your discovery phase and work you through all of the different kind of levels. If you want to look for, there's a column about coaching program, coaching models. Sorry, what's the word there? Coaching models. Okay, so anyway, this will give you some places to go. If you're going to do your deep dive research this summer, don't get every book on the list, but these are some things to go look at, and don't get overwhelmed with it, but know that there are some really great resources out there. I've kind of culled them down for you on this Padlet. Okay, a couple things. All right, let me just put this in the comments for us because that would help. See, oops, sorry, I'm going to take it down. Save, put back up. All right, I'll pop this in the comments for us right there. There we go. Okay, so that Padlet is now in the comments for you, and you can grab it. All right, so a couple of comments here. Stay on with me a couple more minutes because I want to tell you a little bit about, that's not it. Sorry. There we go. The chart for transitioning from classroom to coaching. It's in the workbook if you want to be able to see it better. The template, streamline all the thoughts and goals. Love that. Having a clear plan, direction for my role. This is how you'll start your coaching program, breaking everything down, developing a plan, identifying my role. Absolutely. Okay. I'm so glad y'all are here and with me. Okay. So what I want to talk to you about next is how you become a make change happen coach. Okay. So this graphic is really something that I have just tried to use to just define this idea of a make change happen coach. What happens is, as a new coach, you get started and you are you're coming in with a lot of instructional expertise. And so you have a lot of instructional expertise you can bring to the table. But what you'll find very quickly is that your role is, it's not enough for you to just lean into your instructional expertise. Because if you're going to bring people over the hump of making change happen, then you're going to have to do more than just tell them about and teach them instruction. And you're like, what do you mean? I mean, they just need to learn how to be better teachers. Yeah, but change is actually really hard for people to make. Change is something that people resist. Change is something that people don't want to do. And so when it comes down to learning and understanding how to make change happen, you've got to come with some more skills. And so you can be a good coach if you have your instructional expertise, but honestly, there is a lot more to learn. And so what I found is the things that I had to learn were, in addition to my instructional expertise, was emotional intelligence, which is understanding my emotions and other people's emotions. Done a very deep work in this in myself, and then with the Breakthrough Circle. Leadership skills and really understanding my depth of understanding of leadership and understanding how to lead from the middle has been a huge piece. And then coaching skills and understanding kind of the nuances of coaching. And so once you start to add these other layers of skills, you start to become a make change happen coach. But let me tell you, friend, almost none of these skills are outward skills at first. They are all things that you're learning to change your perspective and your mindset of the work you're doing as a coach. And so somebody said Emotional Intelligence 2.0 is a great book. Yes, all of the work by Daniel Goleman has been very influential in my work. And so what I've done is taken this idea of becoming a make change happen coach, and I've turned it into a program where I teach you to become a make change happen coach. And that's my Breakthrough Circle. The Breakthrough Circle is my inner circle where I bring women into the group who want to do this deep work of learning and understanding how to become a make change happen coach. And so as you see kind of on the top left there, own your coaching program and ownership, that's what we work on in the summers. And so what we are doing right now is stepping into taking the Make Change Happen masterclass and those 5 phases, and we're going to work through them over the next 12 weeks in the Breakthrough Circle, which is my online virtual group coaching program. And so we start with ownership in the summer, and we really lean into that. We build our coaching programs. We re-anchor to our beliefs and our behaviors and our vision. And we just look back at that if we have already created it, or we start creating it if we haven't yet. And then in the fall, we lean into organic coaching and how we learn to coach. We learn those coaching skills. In the winter, when coaching slows down, we lean into self-reflection and we do Better You, Better Coach, where we lean into understanding more about emotional intelligence and ourselves. And then in the spring, which is what we just finished in the group, is leading from the middle and understanding leadership. So I have created a year-long program where you can come into the group really at any time and start learning the skills to become a Make Change Happen coach. And right now, I am stepping into starting to teach the Make Change Happen workshop in the Breakthrough Circle. And so I want to invite you to come into that with me, because if you want to know about these 5 phases and you want to take those checklists that I put in the workbook and you want to go through those at a detailed level where you're going to create your coaching role graphic with us, you're going to create your beliefs and behaviors document with us, You're going to share it. You're going to see all of the coaching, the beliefs and behaviors documents. You're going to write a vision. You're going to share it with us. So in the Breakthrough Circle, I have about 100 women who are in the group, who are the community that you get to connect with, who want to do this deep work. And they're all the ones who've committed to doing the deep work. And many of them have been in the group for at least a year and have gone through that full cycle that I just showed you. And some of them have been in for longer. And they've actually done the cycle twice. And that has been like a super enlightening deep dive, because if you learn the self-reflection work or the coaching work the first time around, imagine what it's like to come back around to it the second time. And so in the Breakthrough Circle, I teach you to become a make change happen coach by teaching you these skills. All right. Well, absolutely loved having you tonight. Temple, one of my Breakthrough Circle members, has made a huge difference for her. She said, great refresher. She started in January, mid-year, and we got on a call before she even started. We got her organized, and through the work, she has had a community to connect with. She has been able to ask so many questions, share her journey, and she and I have connected multiple times one-on-one, and I just feel like a deep connection to all of my members because I love connecting with them. So Temple, thank you for being here tonight and sharing that. So y'all have a great night. I'm so very thankful that you gave me your hour and 15 minutes, and I really hope that I get to work with you more. All right. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be in touch with you. We'll talk soon. Okay. Bye.